this morning, and thanks to Tamara as well. Right now, I would like to introduce one of our featured speakers, Beth Bornick. Beth is representing a group called SATOP, and she's going to come up here and sing and dance for you while I cue up her presentation in the back. Beth, come on up. Any jokes?
Cue fast. Okay, I was really impressed with the rolling ladder. I thought I could do a big Broadway entrance down the staircase. But, can everyone hear me all right?
Yes.
Good. I'm a little shorter than the microphone, so. So I came down from Albany today. I work for the Syracuse Technology Garden, which is an incubator in Syracuse, New York. As an umbrella organization, we're called the Tech Garden, and we have people in Long Island, Albany, and Syracuse. And we run a number of economic development programs, including this one, which is SATOP, the Space Alliance Technology Outreach Program. And this is a NASA grant-funded program. I'll tell you all about it. And if the clicker works. I'm not sure where I should be pointing it. Ah, there we go. The Space Alliance Technology Outreach Program, it's been around since at least 2001. It actually began earlier than that as an outreach program from Kennedy Space Center and Johnson Space Center in Cape Canaveral and in Houston for their engineers to reach out to the small business community and use their expertise to help small businesses succeed in their own endeavors. So this program provides 40 hours or up to 40 hours of free engineering assistance to small businesses. It's a partnership of not only the NASA centers, but more importantly, a group of alliance partners who are aerospace contractors and universities, as well as economic development organizations and chambers of commerce who get the word out to small business. And the goal of SATOP is a means of doing a technology transfer. It's really more transferring the knowledge that's been built up in the U.S. space industry out to small businesses. SATOP has 4 centers across the U.S. This year, the Tech Garden is actually managing the 4-state program. In prior years, the TRDA in Florida has managed it, but this year we happen to get the big grants, so we lead. Next year, Bay Area Houston in Texas got the big grant, so they're going to lead. We all pool our resources together and have one central management. We also work with Regional Development Corporation in Santa Fe, New Mexico. And so between these 4 centers, we take requests from all across the U.S. Okay. Our expertise is on the side here. We work with almost all sorts of engineering challenges. The only thing we don't get involved in is software and IT type of solutions. We really want something that we can come in, provide some expertise, and not have to deal with bug fixes, updates, integration problems of that nature. We just stay out of the software realm, but we frequently work with materials questions, mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, and a whole variety of different technology areas. The 40 hours of free assistance is an upper limit. Some of the requests are as few as a couple of hours. It really just depends on how much information the alliance partner already has in their expertise to provide and the nature of the problem. Said this. The NASA-funded program, we are a grant-funded organization. It is actually an appropriation, so if you think about the whole federal budget process, you can imagine that we're on pins and needles right now waiting for the federal omnibus bill to be passed or not passed to determine whether we're funded for 2012. But next year's funding is already committed. This is a really cool slide because this is our whole group of alliance partners, and these are the engineering resources that we draw upon to provide a solution. The partners are designated by the amount of time that they pledge to the program. So a platinum partner like Lockheed Martin, New Mexico State University, United Space Alliance, these are partners that have pledged a significant commitment to the program. But really, even the bronze partners provide a lot of solutions for us and really help us diversify our expertise. And if you look at Clarkson University, SUNY Binghamton, these are our local partners. Silver, Syracuse University, OSHIX Environmental Safety is New York, CUNY. We have some very cool New York partners, Rensselaer in the gold. So any company that is an aerospace contractor or university that receives NASA research funding can participate as an alliance partner. And it gives their engineers a cool way to sort of flex their technical muscles and try new things and do, in a way, short-term projects with an immediate impact for small businesses. Okay. I do need to update this. I've been using this slide all year, but we haven't run a new economic impact survey yet. That's one of my tasks for the first quarter of next year. 2,100 positive solutions since 2001, which means that the small business submitted a request, we matched them with an alliance partner, and they got a positive solution. The cumulative economic impact, 571 million and over 1,300 jobs. And again, this program did have a gap in funding about 2007 to 2009. So there were a couple of years there we weren't operational, and there's also about a year and a half that we didn't do the economic survey. So there's about 2 years of economic impact are not in this number. So I want to talk about the success stories, because this is what really helps understand what the program does. There's just a huge variety of these, and we have them on our website, which is spacetechsolutions.com. There's a flyer at the entrance table that has that link on it. But I'll talk about a few stories today. This is CPAC Inc. They're in Elmira, and they manufacture electromagnetic clutches and brakes for aerospace, military use primarily. And they had a component that they wanted to reduce the weight of it, but still maintain the strength and reliability of the product. So this was a mechanical design a modification. You know, when you come to SATOP, you really have to have your design. We couldn't design this part for you, but we can help you improve it. So we matched them with our partner in Connecticut, Design by Analysis, and they actually came up with recommendations for how to make that part lighter. And they also developed a little general analysis tool for these guys that they could use for other such parts and do their own calculations in other situations. Okay. August 9th Analysis is in Scarsdale, New York, and they developed process automation technology for small-scale chemical manufacture and industry. And what they wanted was they were creating a single unit that would be really an analytical lab and process control all in one for chemical manufacturing. But they needed help in the actual integration of the optical and the controller technologies into one. They worked with Census Corporation in Syracuse. Census isn't a partner this year, but we hope to get them back next year. They were able to work with someone who knew how to integrate these components into a single control box, and also made some recommendations about having a main control box and separate remote boxes apart from the host computer. This is a story from Texas, and I thought I'd put this in here because I think it's a really cool social entrepreneurship project that this company is doing, and it's also kind of a cool Christmas gift, so if you're thinking about something like that. This is the BOGO light, and it is a solar-powered flashlight that's intended to be used as primary lighting in developing countries, cases where they might be burning kerosene inside a house, really a bad situation, and this is a much safer light source. And so they developed this solar power light, but the LEDs in the flashlight kept breaking, and they were not able to figure out what the problem was. And we matched them up with another Texas company, MEI Technologies, and they were able to determine that the supplier was not using the proper amount of metal. It was a quality problem with the supply, and so they were able to go and find a new supplier in order to get around that problem. Now the cool thing about this light, they call it BOGO, which is buy one, get one. If you want to do a gift as a charitable effort, you can buy a light and they will donate a matching light to any one of a number of charitable organizations in developing countries. A Sigma Equipment Corporation, this is a White Plains company, and they make machinery for chemical, cosmetics, pharmaceutical industries, and they were having problems in the production of a roller part. And so somewhere throughout this production line, these rollers were cracking and the parts had to be scrapped. And we have a great partner in New Mexico State University in their manufacturing realm. And NMSU had equipment and a variety of different ways that they could observe both the parts and the manufacturing process, and they were able to come up with the solution for that challenge. Unfortunately, I don't remember what the solution was, but I can find it in the story. But this was something that the small business was not able to come up with in-house. They just did not have the resources and were not able to find that solution for themselves. This is a clean tech story from Syracuse, New York. Fitzsimmons Systems developing a patent pending process for biodiesel production. And they wanted to recycle the methanol back out at the end of the process, and they needed a recommendation for the best way to separate that methanol from the water. Again, New Mexico State University, and they recommended two different processes depending on the purity that they might need the methanol to be at the end. If you're getting the feeling that we do a lot of recommendations for something that's already working, a process that's already in place, a product that already exists, what's the best material, maybe a better adhesive, how to better choose a component. Usually we're looking for ways to apply know-how that's already out there. We're not researching and developing anything new. Here's a company up in the Albany area, Comfortex, and they make honeycomb blinds, they make window shades. These are their wood alloy shutters, and they were having a lot of shutters returned due to damage during shipping, and they just were not able to make the packaging strong enough to prevent this. We matched them up with MRI Technologies in Texas, and we generally say that we're not able to do testing. We're not a test lab, we don't have test facilities. Some of the universities do. In this case, MRI did have a way to actually do stress tests on a set of packaged shutters and determine where and how to best reinforce that packaging. Often what happens is that if we are able to do testing, it's usually an adjunct to the real question. So they may have been able to recommend how to reinforce the packaging anyway, but the stress test just confirmed it. Just to show that we're not all high-tech products, SATOP does work with really any kind of business. We have a lot of success stories in the food industry, agriculture. Does not have to be developing a high-tech product in order to work with us. This is a company in Syracuse, Mark Anthony Foods, and they do high-quality Italian-style salami and products like that. And they were needing a way to help make the curing process of the salami more consistent from batch to batch. And they worked with the United Space Alliance, and they were able to recommend a humidity control system for them to monitor the drying room and technology to actually monitor the drying process. Again, probably technology they used in some way themselves that was applicable to another industry. And this one's a lot of fun too, Pro Aquatics in Florida. This is really a good example of how just having another pair of eyes looking at something from an entirely different industry can help you get a solution, in this case really quickly. This is a supplier of saltwater fish for aquariums and pet stores, and they ship the fish in plastic bags with half water and half air or oxygen. And during shipment, the oxygen was leaking out the seal at the top of the bag, which harmed the fish. And United Space Alliance looked at the problem, and the company was afraid that they would recommend, some expensive new high-tech way to seal the bags. Well, what they really said was, well, if you take that bag and you flip it over so that the water is resting on the seal when you ship it, the water's not going to leak out, or the oxygen's not going to leak out. So that was really all it took, and just kind of a cool little solution. And a cute picture. So the specifics of how this works. Request for technical assistance, we call them RTAs. You have to be a US-based business. You have to be 500 or fewer employees. You have to have a very distinct and identifiable technical challenge. You really have to be able to define it and explain it really well to an alliance partner for a couple of reasons. If we have a database where all these requests are stored, it talks about what the problem is. It doesn't mention the name of the company, but it gives the information that an alliance partner would need to determine if they have the expertise to volunteer for this. So if it's a very vague challenge, people don't volunteer for it, and it's never going to get solved. Also, if it's a sort of a vague and open-ended problem, then it's not something we know for sure we can wrap up in 40 hours. And we don't do anything larger than 40 hours. So it's not going to be the kind of situation where the first 40 hours are free and then we charge you. We want to be able to wrap it up in 40 hours. If it's 41 or 42, it's not an issue. And if you do make a relationship with an alliance partner and you guys want to work together after the SATOP project, that's fine too. But as a rule, most of the alliance partners aren't available for that. Oops, I think I hit my button. There we go. So it's got to be a very distinct problem. You have to have your design. If you're developing a new product, you have to have maybe the design or a prototype and drawings. It can't be just an idea. We do get requests from people who have an idea for a product and they want us to design the whole thing. We don't want to do that for a number of reasons, and that's not what our mission is. We're here to solve problems with your ideas, with your projects. We also don't want to be developing any new intellectual property. So we don't want a SATOP request to result in inventorship of a new patentable idea, because then our our engineers are going to actually be really co-inventors on your patent, and that's not something you want to get involved in either. So we stay out of anything where we're developing a whole new design. And if it's something that you can easily find a solution in your community, working with another service provider and consulting and so forth, we really try and stay out of those as well. It's another reason for staying out of IT. Now, you could argue that really any challenge you could go out and hire someone to solve, but in a lot of cases, it's cost prohibitive, or you don't know how to find the right person, or you've tried and failed. So it's a bit of a judgment call, but we're not here to just be to replace 40 hours of time for somebody that you have in-house that can already solve the problem, or someone that you could easily access that could solve the problem. The idea is you can't solve it with your own resources, either internal or external. Okay. So you have this challenge, help me find a better adhesive to hold these two strange pieces of material together. What you do is go to spacetechsolutions.com, and we have an online form that you go through and fill out. One of the handouts that I have on the table back there is actually a worksheet that shows you what all the questions are in that form, and it fits on the front and back of a piece of paper. So it's not like we want you to write a grant application or anything like that. It's pretty straightforward. We want to know, about the company, what you think the economic impact is. what the project is, what the nature of the technical challenge is, and so forth. And that will come in, once it's entered into the database, it'll go to our SATOP project engineer in the local area. And for us, that's Mehdi Kalabala in my office. And he will review the request and give you a call to ask for any additional material he might need, or ask you questions about the project. Your written request does not have to be 100% of all the details you could tell us about the project. If there's things that are uncertain or sketchy, you guys can fill that in when you're working with Mehdi. We really just want to get the gist of the idea in there to get us started. Okay. Once he's gone through with you and made sure he understands clearly what kind of expertise is needed and what the limits of the project are, that request will be opened up to the alliance partners. They can go into the same database. Again, they can't see who the company is, but they can see the summary, the description summary of the request. And they also, weekly, the project engineers from the 4 states will collaborate online, and they'll email out the requests to all the alliance partners, and they'll talk about who they think might be a good match for what. Now, this is always the uncertainty, is how long will it take to find a partner, and will we find a partner who has the expertise? If a match is found, the alliance partner is going to be working with the project engineer to get whatever information they might need. They will then set up a conference call. So it'll be launched with a conference call with you, the alliance partner, and the SATOP engineer in order to get things rolling. So there may be also throughout the project additional conference calls or more information that the alliance partner needs from you. So we ask that you really plan to set aside some time for this process. One of the most frequent reasons we have to close a request without a solution is because the requester just doesn't ever get back to the alliance partner with whatever they might need. They might ask for dimensions of something, or pictures of something, or can you try this and get back to me and tell me how it worked, and the requester just never responds. So that's really, it's disappointing for the partners who were really invested in getting you a solution, and it's resources we could have spent helping someone else. So really just plan to commit a little bit of time to work with this partner to get a solution. Okay. The partner is going to work over the course of a 90-day period, so it's not a 40-hour solid week. The partners are really fitting this in amongst their regular day-to-day work, and in some cases they might have the time to put in a focused effort. In some cases it's a little bit here and there, but we try to wrap everything up within 90 days. I have to say we're not doing that well in that this summer, but if you do need something with a quick turnaround, a couple of weeks, it's not really the right program. But that's my presentation. Here's our contact information. It's all on the handouts as well. This is my New York team: Mehdi Kalabala on the left, Kathy Niedzwicki in Syracuse, and on the right, Larry Kalish down in Long Island. So we really are pretty well distributed, kind of a virtual group. Les, do we have time for some questions, do you think? Anybody have any questions? Make them up. Hi.
Yes, I noticed that you were dealing with companies in the United States. Now, what about solutions that may be overseas?
Well, because this is federally funded, grant-funded program, it has to be a U.S.-based business. We've had, being so close to Canada, that's usually the first question as well. Can someone in Canada participate? Really, you've got to have a U.S. office, and it's U.S. operations. So it's kind of a trade-off.
I guess my question was, when you're seeking a solution, would you look for companies that may have that solution outside the United States?
Well, all of our alliance partners are also U.S.-based because our grant does fund a little bit of funding to the alliance partners. I don't think that we would be sanctioned to hire or bring on alliance partners that were overseas. Hasn't come up as a question, but I suspect not. If the alliance partner, though, finds, that the best material or the best resource to solve your problem is overseas, they're certainly going to recommend that. But the partners that you do work with are going to be U.S.-based.
Got a question over here, John?
Yes, as a public relations and marketing communications outfit, we have clients who often have things that might be solutions. So my question is, should SATOP be a resource that we present our clients' capabilities to, and are there more SATOPs around the U.S. that we should be aware of for the types of organizations that might have solutions?
I'm not aware of too many other programs like SATOP. One of the things I'm working on next year, I've got a small grant from the SBA to do sort of an online portal that might have the kind of opportunity you're talking about, where people who have solutions could collaborate with people who have problems. In this case, really, the solutions all come from the knowledge base of the alliance partners. So there's not really an opportunity to use SATOP as marketing for a small business client's capabilities, unless they happen to be an aerospace industry company and they want to join as an alliance partner. Some of our alliance partners are small businesses. Design by Analysis, you saw a couple of examples from them as a perfect example in Connecticut. They're a small business, and they're actually helping. Oh, I'm squeezing this thing here. Let me go to the alliance partners here. They're actually helping. They're actually making business connections for themselves while they're helping small businesses. So, if I can get back to the partners. But right now, every now and then a connection is made where a large company might see a technology that they think is very cool that the small business is having a challenge with, and then they end up working with them later because that might fit a need. But as a rule, it's not really an opportunity for publicizing.
Actually, Design by Analysis up in Connecticut was a partner of mine. Len was with us in the Central Connecticut State University complex.
Great, yeah, I didn't know that.
Glenn.
Does the program also do things like help with something like technical writing for a product?
I'm sorry, with what?
Technical writing for a product?
No, we don't get involved in technical writing or marketing or commercialization. It's strictly engineering types of solutions. It would be great if we had enough funding to do something like that.
Great. Any other questions? Beth, thank you so much. Great presentation.